Hi, this is Witchy. I'm B. My pronouns are she, her. Sorry, I keep looking both at my face and at where I'm supposed to look, and it's getting very confused. Hi. So sorry. It's already chaotic. Today is June 30th of 2025. Welcome if you're new. So sorry. Welcome if you're new. If you're returning, I appreciate you so much. There are so many channels like this that you could be seeing or watching, and I appreciate you coming to mine. This is a channel primarily about cross-stitch and the projects that I'm currently working on. Sorry, I don't have a tripod, so I'm holding this, and it's so sorry. So sorry. I'm also not sorry about the air conditioning that's going in the background. I'm not turning it off. I'm absolutely 100% not turning it off. Yeah, this is a channel about cross-stitch and the projects I've been working on for the past month. I did do a video earlier this month, so it won't be everything, but most of it. There'll be 2 finishes. Very excited about that. One is a start and a finish, and the other is just a finish. Neither of them are fully finished. Nothing is ironed. Don't do that in this house. And then there are 11 works in progress. Some of them just have a teeny bit of stitching on them, so it won't be too cumbersome to get through. And the way these videos go is I'll talk about the projects, I will talk about plans for the next month, then I will take a few moments to give a fact. I might come back on like this for the fact, I don't know yet. It'll be even more silly and ridiculous than this has been, so who knows. I might just save us all that trouble. And then there'll be a tarot card pull for the month ahead. And that's it. that's what we got. So if you are familiar with my videos, you know that I'll be switching to a top-down view of my work itself. And if you aren't, that's what you have to look forward to. Thank you again for being here. Okay, we're just going to hop right into this. The first finish is Black Cat Spell. The only information I have on this is that it is by Ketty. I got it off of, I believe, the Witch's Garden Crafts Facebook. So I'm holding something up in front of my face. Trying to get this all in. And I can't because it's a little bit long. This is the spell that the Sanderson sisters used in Hocus Pocus to turn Thackeray Binks into a black cat. I did this on 14 count Ada, just tea-dyed. I did myself. All of the 310 or black is with 3 strands just to get better coverage. I do kind of wish that I had gone in and done the 37.99 here, 3 strands as well. I wanted to use 2 just to give it a little bit more depth, but it just came across as patchy instead. But I'm very happy to have this finished. I've been working on it for way longer than it needed to, considering. But I'm very, very happy with it. I just kind of went with colors from Stash for the red and purple and green, but I am happy with them. So that's him done, finally. And then the start and the finish that I did for this month was supposed to be in pastel, like more of a teal color for the dinosaur, but I had to personalize it a little. This is Rainbow Dino by Daily Cross Stitch. This was my pride stitch for this year. Both a start and a finish. I did this on 20 count Cocoa by Fiber on a Whim with a completely random assortment of colors for the rainbow itself from Stash. But I love him. He would make a very cute little pillow. And then after that, we're hopping straight into whips for the month. We've got a small start on Baba Yaga by the Witchy Stitcher. I'm doing this on 18 count Little Dove by XJuDesigns with just the called for DMC. Then there is a couple sellers had some patterns for sale this month. You will notice by all of these starts I have by them. This is Eat the Rude by the Witchy Stitcher. And granted, I have a lot of Witchy Stitcher patterns already. I really love her designs, but there's an excess of starts of hers. I'm doing this on 20 count Charcoal by Zweigart with just random floss from Stash. There's only 2 colors. I do in my head keep renaming this Eat the Rich. I don't think I'll be reworking the letters to do that, but kind of a similar sentiment. Yep, that's all I'm going to say about that. Then this one, I got some really, really good progress on this month, about 2,300 stitches worth of progress, so I'm extremely happy. And it is, you guessed it, Fruit of Plenty. I'm going to be focusing even more on this next month. I know, I can't remember, there is one month that's like Jacob June, Jacob July. I'm going to be spending a lot of July working on it to make some good progress. Just trying to get as much of this medallion and central piece done as possible. This is by Modern Folk Embroidery. I'm doing this on 25 count 1/1. The two main colors are Dinky Dye's Black Coral and Shades of Wine. And then just some random other... These grapes, I believe, are Eggplant. Possibly by Weeks Dye Works. I can't remember for sure. The green is Pickle by Pirate and Robin. And I think this is like Autumn Splendor or something similar by Amaranthine Colors. I'll put it in the description because I can't remember the exact name of her shop. But beautiful, beautiful variations on that. And I'm only going to be doing these extra colors in each of the main medallions, not in these smaller ones. But yeah, I got almost 2,500 stitches on it this month alone, so I hope to do quite a bit more progress next month as well. Next is another Witchy Stitcher pattern. I started, there's a series of I think 3 or 4 patterns all related to the same idea. This is Hellboy by the Witchy Stitcher on 18 count Witch's Road by Witch's Garden Crafts. I've had my eye on this pattern for a while. I adore Hellboy, especially the movies with Ron Perlman. I love Ron Perlman so much, but I also do really enjoy the comics. Like they're just very, very delightful. But oh, Ron Perlman. Then there is Leshy, also by the Witchy Stitcher. I'm doing this on 20 count Spacerock by BeStitchMe using the called for. I'm pretty sure this is the correct orientation on this. Then this is a tone on tone, so I'm hoping it'll come across on camera. This is Mother Earth by Tinsel Cross Stitch. I'm doing this on 18 count Swamp Bottom by Oblong Meow. Eli with thick threads back during the spring mingle. He kept showing all these beautiful fabrics and flosses by Oblong Meow, and I'm a complete convert. I have multiple pieces of both fabric and floss by them now, and I absolutely love every single one of them. But this is Swamp Bottom. The floss I'm using is Sulky. So like I said, I'm going for a tone on tone, and then I've got a yellow Sulky that I'll be doing for the secondary color to be added later. I also got progress on, not much, but a little bit more progress on the Palestinian Ornament. This pattern is also by Tinsel Cross Stitch. I'm doing this on 32 count Gray Sand by XJuDesigns, 1/2. Just trying to get more of the shape of this side motif column. More working on it. So I didn't get a whole lot more added, but I wanted to work on it one day. It was kind of right what I was looking for. Then I got a tiny bit more progress on Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. It's pretty common to do long dogs in June. June Dog, I think is what it's called, by Crow Stitcher. I believe they're the ones who coined it. I didn't get a whole lot done. It was more just right here. And And I brought down this border a bit more. I'm doing this on 22 count white Ada with PR 132 by Silks For You as the floss. It is so beautiful to work with. It ends up looking kind of speckled almost in terms of the variegation, so there isn't really like sections that you would see with some variegation. Actually, in one of the pieces I'll show next has more of, I guess, kind of a stripy effect, or you could do sections with it. This particular silk doesn't work like that. It's more speckled in its appearance, but I really like it. This one is very different from a lot of my usual choices, but I'm really, really excited for it because it's a gorgeous combination, if I may say so myself. It's also a large piece of fabric, so I'm wrangling with it. This is Quaker Spirit. Sorry, all that wrangling for nothing. Quaker Spirit. This is also by Tinsel Cross Stitch, on 20 count Watermelon Slushy by BeStitchMe. This is the part that's not my usual. And I'm using a fabric or floss called Minerva by Oblong Meow. Beautiful. So this is all just one thread, but heavily variegated. This is what I mean by where you can see distinct differences, whereas the Silks For You was just more speckled all throughout. But I really, really like both. You know, it just depends on what you're working on and what you're going for. But I'm so excited for this. We'll come back to a little bit about this piece later in plans, but we don't need to get into it just now. Then I did a bit more. So I'd been working on a pattern called Strawberry Fields by the Artsy Housewife, and I wasn't sure if I was going to restart it on something lighter. I did. And I'm very, very happy with that decision. I think this is going much better. This is the full dimensions of the piece, more or less. There's stuff going on in these designs down here, but like I said, Strawberry Fields by the Artsy Housewife. I restarted this on 18 count Cream and Sugar by Fire on a Whim, just using the called for or something very similar. I am making tiny changes here and there, but nothing crazy. Even though I didn't give you any strawberries on this technically is my Strawberry Moon pattern, or to fit the hashtag that was on Instagram, started by Marjorie Maid. Didn't get any of the strawberries, but it is technically for Strawberry Moon. But I like the colors so much more on this fabric. It's working out a lot better. Next is I did a tiny bit more, like maybe 100 stitches more on God, this is so messy, that Uzbek ornament, which is going to be kind of a full coverage. It's so messy because I'm parking, because there's so many chunks with just like long lines of colors, but I'm working in the diagonal, or close to it, so apologies. But I got a little bit more done. Start kind of expanding out on the next diagonal section. This is also by Tinsel Cross Stitch. Again, you can't help but notice the theme. I'm doing this on 25 count gridded white even weave using called for. I'm just under 1% with where I'm currently at. But the colors on this are going to be so beautiful the more I get into them. So I do want to work on this some more here soon. I don't know if anyone else does this where you're kind of like watching specific things. If I'm watching Flosstube, it's one thing. I have a habit of watching movies while I'm stitching, especially ones that I'm familiar with. The downside is that this means I sometimes get these really strong memories. Like that one, when I was working on it some more, I was watching Field of Dreams. So now that's kind of what I think about when I pick it up, even whether or not I'm watching it again. Oh, my plans didn't get saved. Okay. So one of the plans I have is yet another Halloween Quaker. I have about 5 of them, I feel like, or samplers of some sort. This one's another one by Tinsel Cross Stitch. I think I have 2 or 3 by them alone. But another Oblong Meow fabric came in. I think This is Witch's Brew. I'll double check. I'll put it on the screen. But it's beautiful. And I really want to do this floss. I know some of these purples will ghost a little bit, but it'll be for such small sections, and like I think it'll work. I think it'll work. This is called Mountain Sunset. I'm excited to see how it'll go. We'll see. But this is one of the plans I want to at least get a start on this. Other than that, the other major thing I'm hoping to do, I've tried to do, or I've looked into some of those different games that people are doing, or the take on bingo that people do. WhipGo. There it goes. My brain was not connecting those dots. Or WhipGo, and my brain just doesn't quite follow with that. But what I decided to try to do instead, and my first sacrificial lamb was this Quaker Spirit, like I mentioned. So all of my whips, and there's over 100, I have them in 3 separate areas. Like, they're all fairly close by. One of them I can just about reach. It's in a basket, like just past the foot of my bed. There's another section of stuff that's kind of off to the side. But most of them I can literally just drop my hand, and I have like some 30 or 40 projects in bags right next to my bed. Like, drop my hand, there they are. So what I would like to do, what I've started doing, this was the first one, put them all on a spinner, spin, and whichever one it lands on, I'll do 500 stitches. I'm almost there on this one. I think I'll need like maybe 100 more. Then spin again, pull only from these projects. Keep trying to go until I've completed a bunch of them, or I've removed them because they've come up a few times and I just really don't want to work on them. There's just something about them, it's not gelling. And if that happens a couple times, then I'm just going to remove them from that list entirely. Come back to them later. That's the closest I've got to concrete plants. And like I said, I do want to work more on my modern folk embroidery piece. But that's that for plans. So next we're going to go into the tarot card pull. If that isn't something you are interested in staying for, that's fine. I did end up recording the fact to go a little bit after this, with my face, like talking to the camera. So if you're interested in that, I will have timestamps in the bottom. You can jump ahead. But I did do a card pull, and I wanted to mention, so this is one of my I just grabbed a deck at random. This is one of my weirder decks, but it is stunningly beautiful. It is the Santa Muerte Book of the Dead tarot deck by Fabio Lestrani. The deck itself is stunningly beautiful. Actually, let me grab the box for it. The artwork is just so beautiful. Like I said, it is a little bit weirder because it is kind of fashioned along similar design aesthetics as Day of the Dead or Dia de Muertos, with sugar skulls and all of that. And the card pull for the month looking forward was the High Priestess. Her appearance can signify it's time to listen to your intuition rather than prioritizing your intellect or conscious mind. When she shows up, it can depict an archetype known as the Divine Feminine, a mysterious female that understands and holds the answers to the deep unknowns, religion, self, nature. She represents someone that is intuitive, beginning to be open to his spirituality. Meditation, prayer, and new spiritual work is encouraged. Searching within yourself to be done for answers that you seek. It's just a beautiful, beautiful card. Every time I look at some of these, I just see more and more details that I love. But that is it for the tarot card pull. I'll put the fact in here shortly, but before I do that, thank you again for being here. I will be attending Midsummer in mid to late July by Lindy Stitches. I've already got my ticket. So I hope to see a bunch of you there. I've made some of my good stitchy friends through events like this, so I really hope to meet more people, see familiar faces, get to spend time. But that's all I have for you. So try to remember to get enough water, stay safe, focus on what makes you happy, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, I came back. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but you know what? I put on eyeliner today. We're doing it. Okay, so the fact is something I've known about for a few years. It's weird. It's ridiculous. It's silly. So we're going to talk about it. We are going to discuss March 3rd of 1876. I'm reading off of something because I know most of the details, but not fine enough to just give them. So March 3rd, 1876, a farmer's wife, Mrs. Crouch, don't know what her first name was making soap on her porch when she reported seeing a piece of meat fall from the sky. She said that she was 40 steps away from her house when the meat began to hit the ground. Mrs. Crouch and her husband believed the event was a sign from God. The phenomenon was covered in Scientific American, the New York Times, and other publications. The event eventually became known as the Kentucky Meat Showers. It was an incident that occurred for just a few minutes over the space of less than a football field, where chunks of meat, red meat, fell from the ground, or fell from the sky to the ground near Olympia Springs, Kentucky. Most of the pieces of meat were approximately 2 by 2 inches, or 5 by 5 centimeters. At least one was 4 by 4 inches, or 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. The meat appeared to be beef, but according to the first report in Scientific American, 2 men who tasted it judged it to be lamb or deer. No comment. Locals favored the explanation that the meat was vomited up by buzzards, who, as is their custom, seeing one of their companions disgorge himself, immediately followed suit. Dr. Louis D. Castenbein presented this theory in contemporaneous Louisville Medical News as the best explanation of the variety of meat. Vultures vomit as part of a quick escape and also as a defensive method when threatened. Side note, a group of vultures in flight is called a kettle. If they are feeding, it's called a wake. And if they are just perched, they are a committee. Random side note. And I think that's it for the fact, but it's just Kentucky Meat Shower. You hear that phrase once, you remember it. Oh, there's one last detail. So sorry, I knew if I scrolled. In 2024, so last year, the Bath County History Museum opened an exhibit for the Kentucky Meat Shower showcasing a preserved piece of meat. Thank you again for being here. Despite that, thank you. You very much appreciated.